This is Sister Dottie S. Dixon, a proud Utah mama who's also a member of PFLAG. My son is Donnie P. Dixon. I stand for no violence, no bullying, belittling, or beating. You're about to see a video of some of the most prominent people in all of Utah who stand with me firmly on the side of love.
Do I feel hopeful that this will ever get better? You know, I feel like such a skeptic sometimes and such a realist, you know, that if this is human nature, that it won't.
I think we live in a violent society. I think our kids have been dehumanized by media, by watching their peers, watching their families.
We have political bullies. We have economic bullies, we have sexual bullies, and we have theological bullies. And we don't want to say that because it makes us reflect as adults upon ourselves. It's still very easy for us to reflect and project it onto children. And I suggest to you that those children are picking those cues up from us.
It's much easier to poke fun at the differences in others than it is to talk about what's bothering you.
When someone that you look up to and you idolize is preaching against something that is so innate inside yourself and such a part of who you are, that's almost the worst kind of bullying, worse than somebody at school throwing you into a locker, punching you, calling you names. It's worse to have somebody that you look up to tell you that you as a person shouldn't be.
I know my children are safe. I know my children are cared for. But I hear stories every day of kids that start out life with strikes against them.
The reason that we have stayed viable as a species is because of the other part of our nature, and that is the one that looked after each other. So I think there are two competing things. There's the violence part, there's the territory part, there's the tribe part that's suspicious of the outsider, and then there's the other part that draws everyone together. And the question is, why is it that there's bullying?
I'm constantly surprised about parents of bullies that defend their actions. That's the part that sickens me. Nobody's born a bigot. They learn it.
We have normalized the abnormal. That's insanity.
Bullying seems to be a reaction of fear, and when people show up and speak their piece and are who they are, then that kind of takes the power away.
At one point I was never had a lot of money, and so having the football players steal my bike and ride around the football field while I chased after them.
I've experienced bullying in my home from my father. Physical abuse, emotional abuse, mental abuse, and verbal abuse.
And I have a son, a gay son, and a gay grandson, and to think that any moment someone could hurt them simply for who they are, that kind of information in my own life, very close, is devastating.
Like I said before, it's a lack of knowledge. People are afraid of what they don't know.
So that's why I've chosen to be an activist, to educate, because I think that is absolutely the answer to everything.
And when I think about it sometimes, you know, there's a circle and there's people standing around me, and somebody's speaking something, I don't know the language, and he starts to punch me and beat me. And so I got beat up on my very first day, in the very first recess in the first class in this country. The thing that was really kind of tough is because what you're looking for is a recognition in somebody else's eyes that they're sympathetic with you. And that is something that's really hard to reconcile, that you can find that there.
If we can talk about it, that it will get better. That's the thing, you've got to always be hopeful.
I definitely have hope for the future that as people kind of show up and show how different and beautiful they are, that people kind of see that and they can kind of let their guard down and be more of who they are.
I have to have hope that this will change with upcoming generations because that's what my kids are growing up in it.
Our generation, as well as future generations, will become more loving, more embracing and compassionate, just based off of learning to accept everybody and love everybody. I hope that's not too idealistic. I hope that's actually something that will happen.
I have hope that every kid that wants to be themselves, every kid the moment they walk into school, has an opportunity to be themselves.
And for that, I'm not willing to give up. This life is too short, and I'm too much of an optimist to give up on that. And I would say to anyone who is a pessimist about it, we need to talk. Yes, I have hope.